Good morning and welcome to another Writer's Morning Commute. So I spoke a few days ago about my pre-writing process, getting the basics of my story and the concept and the premise worked out. Moving on from there, the next thing I do is kind of dependent on how the project has gone up to that point. The next two big things that I do are a little interchangeable. The first is to figure out my characters, to get all their character sheets filled out, and that consists of the things that I've mentioned before, with the thing they want, the thing that they need to grow as a person, their ghost, their virtues and vices, their Myers-Briggs personality type, who they see themselves as versus who others see them as versus kind of who they actually are objectively. There might be a few other things I'm forgetting, but that's, the most of it. So you figure out what this person is like, who they are as an individual. And the other thing that I do at this point is expand out from that 2 or 3 sentences that summarize the idea of the story to 6 paragraphs that summarize the whole story. The first paragraph is the main character's starting life world. Then I do 1 paragraph for each quarter of the book, which is basically each act of the book in the way that I outline, which I'll discuss later. And then I do 1 paragraph at the end for the end state, so how the world turns out, what state we leave the character in, all that stuff. Depending on how the brainstorming went, if I got my character really figured out and I have lots of details about what the character is supposed to be like, I'll figure out my character first and then figure out what choices make sense for that character to make in the plot second. So I'll do the character sheets first and then the summary second. If, on the other hand, I've got a lot of plot notes and I have a lot of really cool ideas for different, plot events, and I have less details about character, I'll do the plot summary first. And then as I'm going through, like, the Myers-Briggs test, as I'm going through and thinking about what the character wants versus what they need and how that's going to get set up in the plot, I'll kind of reverse engineer all that, and I'll say, okay, this character, I need them to make a lot of impulsive decisions. So when I'm taking the Myers-Briggs test, I'll, choose impulsive options. And then that'll give me a Myers-Briggs type. And, same for whatever characteristic. Just whatever characteristic they need to have, I'll fill it out with that in mind. And then the Myers-Briggs test will give me a personality summary. 16personalities.com will give me a personality summary that kind of fills in the holes around those personality attributes. They usually do a pretty good job of picking up on that kind of thing when you do it purposefully. From there, and you can also reverse engineer, depending on what your climax is. If you know the climax already, you can say, okay, what theme or what internal conflict can I really dial up using this climax? What would be the most extreme, intense personal experience that someone could be having while going through this climax? So then you can kind of figure out, based on what little of the character I know, how can I combine that to make a good internal conflict? I just kind of tried to brainstorm some different ideas from there. But just in general, reverse engineering, like I said, and backfilling all that character stuff. Generally, I do think it's better to start with the character, but my own brain tends to do more plot things first sometimes, a lot of the time. Because, I watch a lot of movies, a lot of the books that I read, I've never really been able to figure out exactly what the difference is between character versus plot-driven. It seems like different people consider different stories to be one or the other, and they conflict sometimes. But I do like genre books, genre films, that kind of thing, which tend to have these big set-piece moments and big twists, and that's kind of the first thing my brain goes towards, just because that's what I think is cool. And I do my best to fill in the rest of it from there. So thank you for riding with me. It's been a great time, and I hope you have a great day.